Interpersonal communication is the communication between two persons or among a small group of persons and is distinguished from a public or mass communication because it is between two different people. Throughout this course of interpersonal communication, we have faithfully, week by week, broken down a theory and analyzed the theories and chapters within the textbook by Joseph DeVito on interpersonal communications. In this course, we span from the inner workings of the foundations of interpersonal relationships to the culture and perception of these relationships, all deeply refining the understanding of how we communicate and share relationships with others. So in this video, we're going to delve into one of the theories that we learned, which is going to be on self-perception. I chose the self-perception theory because it interested me how you can look at this topic more academically, and it was also interesting to see the different ways that self-concept plays into our life and our relationships. So to begin, the chapter has a really strong basis on the idea of self-perception. The book says that we know a great deal about ourselves, and we have a good idea of our thoughts and our feelings, our strengths and our weaknesses. But also, self-perception includes others' images of you, social comparisons, and cultural teachings, and your own observations and interpretations. Tied into this idea of self-awareness is the Johari model, which consists of 4 sections of ways of being self-aware. There's the open self, the blind self, the hidden self, and the unknown self. And all of these vary how much information that you and others can tell about yourself. The theory of self-perception is being used every day in applications, and Alyssa Alcost of Adolescent Partial Hospitality Program at Loma Linda University says, quote, "This incessant comparison can foster a sense of dissatisfaction with one's own life and accomplishments, leading to a negative self-perception. Social media creates such an environment of comparison and unrealistic goals and negative pressures of, I should be like this, I should be like that." So this theory not only is being used greatly in social media, but in everyday life of comparing yourself to your classmates, to your friends, to yourself of what you used to be like, and so much more. Self-perception is ingrained in our makeup as humans and will never fall out of use. It'll maybe ebb and flow in how much we discuss it and think about it, but is a core principle of our inner humans' connections with ourselves and others. Now, moving on from the more applicable part of self-perception. Self-perception is so important because it's important to know what you do well in and what you're good in and facts about yourselves. However, you need to be careful because it can swarm your mind with self-destructive thoughts and a negative view of yourself, especially if you're in the mindset of your worth is based on what other people think about yourself and how you read yourself. So I want to read this piece that can really show the weight of having a bad view of yourself and self-perception. It's called Duality, the Reality. My stomach rises and falls like a roller coaster. My confidence rises so high, I feel like I could be on a poster. But then the next second, my anxiety chokes her, crushes me like a boulder, ripped out of my soul like a band-aid, exposing my festering wounds solely man-made. Pruned and trimmed, watered and skinned, the garden of my soul has been ripped until she no longer grins. The crowds and eyes rip apart my disguise and make me picture my face as a disgrace. But the next second I stop and I think, I'm so pretty I could make them turn pink. Then I look in the mirror and I wish I could shrink. I'm not a goddess. I look in the mirror and I mock us. If I'm so pretty, then why do they want us? Where is this chorus? They tell me you're gorgeous, but please inform us, why is it always them before us? Please, I can't keep up my performance. I just want to no longer feel like an abhorrence. And as you can see from that piece, having a mindset of yourself can greatly affect your sanity and your mindset, and being careful to keep a steady line of how much you're perceiving yourself and how much you let others' opinions affect yourself. But on the other hand, self-perception and awareness can be good. For instance, sometimes you need to know what others know about you that you don't know about yourself. For instance, some people might have a resting face or an eating habit or something that they do that they're not aware of, and until they inform you, you can't learn how to grow. So it is important to have a good awareness of what others think of you, keeping a healthy boundary. Not only is self-perception a good idea from the book, but it's a biblical principle as well that should be painted throughout our lives and in our friendships and how we view ourselves. Romans 12:3 discusses pride and keeping your head to the right size of your body and not getting a puffed up ego. It says, quote, "For by grace given to me, I say to every one of you, Do not think of yourselves more highly than you ought, but rather think of yourselves with sober judgment in accordance with the faith God has distributed to each of you. And so much more in the Bible centralizes the theme of keeping that your mindset is what God has called you as his child. What he views of you is the most important. And despite the pain of trying to struggle out what you view of yourselves and how others think of you, it's important to keep the mindset as what God thinks of you is the most important. And at the same time, like in the verse said, keeping a healthy view and not getting an ego and your pride before the fall. So that's what I want to close this off today. Thank you so much for listening to this self-perception theory portion of the positions paper. And I hope you guys enjoyed, and thank you so much for tuning in.